My name is Ian Walsh. This is The Moment Money Matters with Hard Money Bankers, joined today with a very special guest, Dan Zitofsky. Dan, thank you for... Good, man. So a lot of people in my circle have seen your face many a times. You have a very serious presence on the internet. You do a good job. You're obviously very well spoken. You've been around this game. You and I have had a lot of off-camera conversations. I think we speak the same language, very much so. So, and specifically in like the lending world, the investing world, and you have a lot of background in investing and building a life that the real estate investing has been able to provide you to have the time to sit down and have these interviews. But what a lot of people don't know about you, and actually my first glimpse of it, and I remember messaging you on Facebook, was I saw a picture of you. It was 9/11. It was always remember. Type picture, and I see you in like a police uniform, and I message you and said, "Hey, were you there?" You're like, "Yeah." And then so we dig a little bit more and come to realize you're now currently looking to serve this country in a different way,
right?
But you've been serving this country for a long time. A lot of people didn't know about,
right?
So your background, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were in the Navy for a good portion of your adult life.
Well, 4 years. I was in during the Persian Gulf War in the Navy.
Persian Gulf War, then became a police officer, and you were at Ground Zero during 9/11.
Yeah.
So you bleed red, white, and blue. Right? Like, you love this country. You have to.
There's no doubt. Nobody could ever take that away from me.
I mean, you put your life on the line, which is more. So thank you for your service. One,
my pleasure.
I've got some of my best friends in the military, and anytime I see like somebody that was in the military or served, I see them at a gas station or something and they're going to buy something, I jump in front of them and say, I'm paying. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like everybody owes that to those people that lay their life down.
It's awesome that you feel that way because, veterans are really my soft spot. I have a couple things in my campaign and we'll talk about those, but veterans are really my soft spot. Mm-hmm. And because they're so forgotten about and they serve this country and they provide the freedom that we all live under, and the democracy that we live under, and veterans just come out of the military like I did, and thank God that I wasn't a disabled vet, but there's so many that have been disabled, so many with PTSD, so many with untrained. They come out of the military, they're just not trained for a real job, and they're just forgotten about by society, and it's sad. It's really sad to see what happens. So you doing that just says, hey, I appreciate you, and that's huge for a veteran. So being appreciated.
The least I could do, and then you have, I always love seeing. I'm sure you've met like World War II vets and so forth. Yeah. Those guys, you have to fight them to pay for what they want. You know what I mean? These guys, they don't want to talk about what they went through because it was just their duty to their country. And so for the least I could do is pay for somebody's 7-Eleven or somebody at a rest stop. Like, it's the least we could do. And because I look at vets and I look at anybody in the military that's provided for this country, I'm like, for what you do, you literally sign a piece of paper saying, I'm willing to die for your freedom. So you can sit here at this gas station, you can have this interview. And, they make money, but they don't make the kind of money that I'm like, you should be making athlete money. Like,
right. And that's what's sickening. When you see an athlete and, this could really go on in a different verge if we start talking about these NFL athletes that are not standing for the national anthem. And, this could really upset some people either direction. And I always try to put myself in both people's shoes. But the one thing I'll never separate from is, the military, the United States of America, and the democracy we live in. Because like I said, we're afforded the freedoms to go out and play professional football and make millions of dollars for something that people dream of doing. Mm-hmm. And military, they don't really make enough money. I mean, I can tell you when I started in the military, I was making $248 every 2 weeks.
Crazy.
And that's not enough money to put my life on the line and to be away from the family until you move up. So, like I said, and anyone you meet, you said World War II, you really have to grab these people when you see them and start talking to them because they're becoming few and far between. They're dying off, unfortunately. So I'm still, I go out and visit my grandmother once in a while, and I used to talk to her friends, and some of them Holocaust survivors. Mm-hmm. So I got to actually hear stories from that. And now you don't hear those stories anymore.
They fade.
And in school, it's just up to interpretation. Mm-hmm. They're not telling true facts.
That's right.
So when you get to talk to these World War II vets or Vietnam vets, I mean, they're starting to, be few and far between now. It's not in the next 20, 30 years, you're not going to meet anyone that was in World War II, or Vietnam.
My grandfather, 92, served, he was in the Navy as well, and he's alive, and his mind is still with him, so anytime we see him, we ask him for stories, and you're just like, you're telling me a story from like 50 years ago right now, but it's just such a battle-hardened generation that honestly created allowed for our generation to pay forward and become real estate investors and have the freedoms that we have. So I thought it was super interesting. Now you're running for the 8th District State Representative in Delaware. Did I get that right?
Correct.
So I had to get clarification because I don't know politics very well, but I was like, Dan likes to get things done. So I was like, why is he getting involved in this? So I need to double check with you and see, hey, what are you trying to accomplish there? And you had sent me say, hey, these are the things on my agenda that I'm trying to make a change for. I've made a good living in real estate. This is what I've done, but I feel it's time that if I can make a change, I'm going to do it. So with your campaign coming up, what are some of the areas that you really are passionate about? What are you trying to focus on to change?
Okay, in the state I'm trying to change, there's actually a lot. If you look at the agenda, there's probably a good 15, 20 issues I really want to change. But I really want to focus when I get in and tackle some real core issues and then move on to let my predecessor, whoever takes over after me, move on those and grow those and enhance those. Because I don't believe there should be career politicians. I don't believe politics is a business. I don't believe it's your career. I don't believe you should retire from politics. I think it's ridiculous that somebody who's in a U.S. seat, Congress, Senate, for one term of 6 years, and they get a pension of 100% of their pay plus benefits for life. And that doesn't happen, once again, for your military. I got out after 4 years. I don't have a pension. Mm-hmm. So on and so forth. But some of the things I'm really looking to take care of is, you see constitutional issues. People are trying to mess with our Constitution. Mm-hmm. And depending on what side of the seat you're on, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you're voting not for what's right, not for your constituents in that area. You'll vote because you want to get reelected,
right? Or
you want to have a developer in your pocket taking care of you. Mm-hmm. And there's nobody taking care of my campaign. There's no reason I care in the future if I'm getting reelected. If I'm not the right person for the job, then I'm not the person for that job. So I'm going to vote things like, we've had things come up like the gun bans. We've had things come up like student safety, school safety right now. It's easier to get into a school than it is to get into a Philadelphia Phillies baseball game. And there's no way in the world I'm going to stand for that. Veterans coming out, being, treated horribly, no jobs, no services, no medical for them. Senior citizens were taking, my opponent took away 25% of the tax credit when we were down last year. And we had a deficit, and this year we had a surplus, and they refused to give it back to them. They also took money from the senior center, $57,000 from the senior center. These are services, nonprofits that are actually doing good for people. But when you look at the nonprofits that they're bringing money to, some of those nonprofits, I drove around, they're not even in existence anymore. So where are the checks and balances on that? And it's been a one-party rule for so long in Delaware. And one-party rule, whether it's Democrat, Republican, or Independent, it's never going to work. There's no checks and balances. So there's other things like transfer tax. We're one of the most expensive transfer tax in the United States. You just opened up my eyes that Philly just went up again, right? Mm-hmm. Philadelphia just went up again to a little. We're at 4%. You're at like 4.25% now. Yeah, and I didn't realize Philly went up good. So congratulations, you went now the highest.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
At least we're not the highest transfer tax in the United States. Mm-hmm. Education. I live in the best school district in Delaware, but the price per student in our school district is one of the most in the United States. But the scores are some of the lowest in the United States. The money's not making it to actual classrooms. It's making it to the administrators. There's over 19 school districts in this state with only about 110,000 students. So money's not actually hitting the classrooms. Teachers are complaining that there's not enough money in the classrooms. There's not enough money for the materials. Teachers aren't making enough money here. We have phenomenal teachers that are picking up and leaving and going to New Jersey and Pennsylvania because they make a lot more money there. So we're becoming a training ground, and we're losing great teachers. And I give all the credit in the world to teachers. They are phenomenal. I mean, they're teaching our society for the next generation. They're doing a noble job. They need a lot of education. They need master's degrees, sometimes more than master's degrees to teach, and they're being paid next to nothing. So if you look at the pay comparison between the two, our teachers aren't getting paid enough. But the average cost per student here is about $17,000, which is higher than I think everywhere else in the United States, other than 4 states right now. So I'm going to take it from my side, not knowing much about politics. I look at this and go, there's been a lot of people that have come in and really wanted to make change. And then you get in there and you go, it's insurmountable. Like, this mountain is just enormous. Like, what do you think walking into it? I mean, you've done some pretty incredible things in your life, and you're probably saying, yeah, there's a big task ahead of me. Well, people ask me, even the campaign, they say, well,
I'm not asking you to make promises here. I'm not that guy.
No. But I understand. But even the campaign, they said, well, the incumbent has pretty much gone unopposed. He wins all the time. If you don't do anything, he'll get 60% of the vote just because people either vote party lines or they don't come out. How are you going to do this campaign? And this is basically, I'm going to get out, and I've been doing it almost every day. I've been out knocking doors, in the heat, taking my wife, taking my daughter, taking whoever volunteers with us, and knocking on doors and talking to the people and just listening to what they have, what concerns they have. And the problem is they don't feel serviced in Dover, state capital. They don't feel serviced in Washington, D.C. They don't feel serviced by any of their politicians. Nobody's listening to them. Nobody cares about them. Everybody worries about their campaign and their next election. So I tell them, and they said the same thing to me. They asked that same question: how are you going to get out there? And I just said, one door at a time. So when I get in office, unfortunately, and you see this even at the national level, you see president will try to do something, and Congress will be against them. So sometimes it can't get done. So, but if you look at it and you try to work. See, I want to take. And this is the other thing people tell me I'm crazy about. I really want to take, and part of my slogan is take politics out of politics. Like, why can't we work together for the best of the state? Why can't we make this state, which now rolls into the country, because there's things like Dodd-Frank and CFPB that I'm working alongside a U.S. Senate candidate, Gene Torona, that he was a regulator with PayPal, and he's all into deregulating this overregulation of government. So by doing these things in a state, it's going to make it better in Washington and on a national level. So it's just on a state level. So I look at it like this: if I can get in there, and really some of the key points for me are veterans, senior citizens, and education, kids' education. And obviously I come from a crime background, so crime reduction. So I would like to do things, work with the police department, maybe look at the budget that's in place right now, maybe isolate money towards the police department, isolate money towards school buses. Right now they only pay a company $32,000 a year per bus. So how can you even have anyone qualified to drive that bus? Now buses are not even getting out to the kids, so kids don't even have bus service to schools at certain points. So it's a danger issue.
Sure.
And these are things we're not worried about, but we're taking money, we're funding non-for-profits that are no longer in business, and nobody cares about it. Okay.
So we need answers to it.
We do. We need to hold their feet to the fire.
We need answers, yeah.
And if you don't have people in Dover, if you don't get out and vote, and you don't have people in the state capitol that are actually going to bring this up and actually get on a committee and look at this and get this done, nothing's going to happen. So that's really why I'm getting involved in it, is because I'm sick and tired of seeing what's going on. And I've been the type that anytime there's an issue, I've always taken action. And I've been sitting back so long and not taking action. It's just getting worse and worse. So it basically came down to the fact of either run for office or get up and move. And,
it's interesting because I remember when I first saw you come out with this, I said, I don't really know, you think immediately I think politician, what's the angle, right? But I'm like, no. I'm like, he's made money. He's got it figured out. I've met with him personally. If you had an ego, people on the internet knew who you are. Like, there's nothing there. I'm like, there's no angle here.
No.
I was like, he just legitimately is passionate about this change, and I'm going to give it my all kind of thing, and that's it.
That's just how I do
it. What you see is what you get.
That's just how I do things. And I tell people, as far as ego, I definitely don't have an ego, because I'm actually, if anything, I'm losing it, because I travel nationwide. Now I travel internationally. I speak in front of thousands sometimes of people. I can speak as many times a year as I want at events if I want to. That's where people have an ego. Money-wise, I could do a lot more real estate deals or lending deals if I'm not involved in politics. I would just have more time. I've already canceled over 16 trips from the end of the winter until the end of the summer that I was speaking out of doing business that I get paid on, that I would have made more money than I would make in politics ever.
It's just your passion. You're just saying, I'm going to do this.
It's just, here's the thing, you need to have, the reason I do what I do in real estate, and I think we talked about this in the last time we did an interview, I used to flip 30 to 40 houses a year. I remember this, I was making a lot of money. I did this 7, 8 years.
Houses, money, all that.
And it drove me, I was miserable. I wasn't happy. I felt like I wasn't serving a purpose, right? So then I got to the point where about 7, 8 years ago, I started switching to a lot more passive income. And now I felt like I finally, I love my life. I have the time. If I wasn't campaigning, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on the beach. I'd be traveling. All summer, I usually travel. As you know, I'm always away traveling.
You always got the best pictures. Yeah, your family's here. You guys are there. Yeah,
I'm always traveling. So I did one vacation quick this year, and it was it. I really, I would want to go to the beach for a day, and I run back home because I'm always doing something. But you get to this point, it's like, what is my purpose? What is my passion? What am I doing? Is it just doing another real estate deal? And I love real estate deals, but that's not truly a passion of mine, right? I've hit my goal. When you hit your goal, and we talk about this all the time about hitting goals, when you hit your goal, what do you do next? How do you feel successful? Yeah. And you actually go through like a depression because you hit your goal and then you're a certain age and you're not ready. And I don't think I'll ever retire because I don't want to just hang myself up.
Your brain goes, yeah.
So I'll always do some kind of, like we were just talking about a deal before this. And I'm always like, those are the kind of things I love to talk about and figure out a way. When someone says it can't be done, figure out a way to get it done. And I love doing that. But when you hang yourself up and you stop doing anything of purpose, you start to feel depressed. You start to feel like you're not a man, like you need to go out there and fight, but you need to, what are you doing? What are you doing in life? And, one of the great things about this is, my daughter and my kids have really taken this on with me. And, my daughter's out there when she's knocking doors with me, she's asking questions. She's seeing people's personalities. And, she's asked me a couple of times, Dad, why are you doing this? Nobody else is helping. And it's just a life lesson alone. You couldn't pay for this. And my daughter goes to private school. You couldn't pay for this anywhere you go. It's the stuff she's learning right now is, and when we knock doors or we're doing an event, they talk to me all the time. They ask me questions. They see what I'm going through. And they've asked me, I have 3 kids, 2 of them already asked me, why in the world would you keep doing this? Why don't you just give it up? Just do your business. You don't need this. But they're learning that when things get hard, you keep going. You don't stop because it's the same thing as business. But this is so much harder than business.
Well, we were just talking before. I mean, we won't go into the details, but like you're basically being asked to engage in a business activity without having money readily available.
Right.
In essence, that's what you're doing. Hey, I want you to. The game is to do this with resources, but we're not going to give you any resources. Figure it out.
Right.
That's hard.
It's ridiculous. And the party, the state can only do so much because they have so much money and they have so many candidates and they have to, certain races they really have to focus on, certain they don't. But, and people, even your investors, a lot of my investors have come out and helped. And I'm so grateful for the investors because without the investors I know, and most of them aren't even in the state, without the investors I know, the campaign wouldn't even got off the ground. I mean, people, it kills you because people in my district, in this state, they don't even help a lot. They want to change, but they don't help. So you and I are not used to this because we're entrepreneurs, right? So you run a very successful private lending company. You've ran a very successful property management company. You run a very successful turnkey rental. So you've been very successful, but you're around like-minded people, right? So, hey, we have a deal. We need to raise $2 million, $3 million to get this deal done. You're doing. I mean, you're lending out, I don't know, 40, 50 deals a month, whatever you're doing. I know you're a big player in the lending space. You're raising that money. Okay, here, and because people see a return, here, you're dealing with people with a different mindset, not bad or good. They just don't have the same entrepreneur mindset that we have.
And that connection to the return is not as direct, right? So so every person you talk to, it's a very diluted feeling that they're going to get that reward. But with an investor, you go, bang, you can measure it right there and you can have that conversation. But when you're dealing with having to influence thousands of people, that each person's that little piece.
And it drives me nuts because when you have the mindset like I have, it's like, I'm going to get in here and fix it. I'm going to fix it because the education system is failing right now. I'm going to fix it because the infrastructure is failing. I'm going to fix it because taxes are failing. I'm going to fix it because, crime is going up, right? But people that live in the area, forget about people outside the area because it affects them too. But people that live in the area, they don't get involved. And you're like, what's wrong with you? These are your kids going to school. These are you living in a community that, I'll tell you, we were knocking on doors in a senior community and I had people, some of the nastiest people I met, not all of them, but some of the nastiest people I met were senior citizens in these senior communities. And I was going there. And one thing that really set me off that said, I'm running, is that my opponent he voted against them to reduce their tax credit and then refused to give it back to them and took money from the senior center. And these are the people that are actually upset. And they answered the door nasty, what are you selling? I have no time for you. I'm busy. And I said, you're busy. It's 110 degrees. I'm sweltering right out here. I'm not a senior citizen. I don't get the money. I'm here to help you. So if I'm not going to help you, who's going to help you? So it's just a different mentality. It's not a mentality I enjoy. It's not a mentality I like. I like the entrepreneur mentality that, if we want to get something done, we're going to band together and get it done.
Right.
So my thing is the reason I'm running is people say, why do you want to be a politician? I get asked this question. I think you asked it to me. Why are you running? Why do you want to be a politician? And my answer emphatically is I have no interest in being a politician. I never wanted to run for office. I just felt like I'm the right person at the right time to get the job done for the state.
Yeah, when I said to you, why do you want to be a politician? I almost wanted to put those words back in my mouth because I don't associate you as politician. They don't go together. And I realize you're not doing this. Like, if you want to call me a politician, so be it. But the real reason I'm doing this is because there's a change that's needed.
Exactly. And
this is how I see to make a change. And if you want to put a label on my name, so be it. But the way to make the change is by me doing this. So, but let's talk about, I know a lot of people will be watching this video before you have an event coming up, I think August 6th.
Yeah, so August 6th, we're doing our first fundraiser. We really want to make it a nice fundraiser. We didn't want to make it too expensive for people. So there's a restaurant in Middletown, a cheese type place. They make really good food, and we talked to him, and he's very supportive. So obviously we want to keep it local in our area to support the local businesses. So we're doing something August 6th from 5 to 8 at the Fromage restaurant. So they're giving us a really good deal. One thing off the menu with a glass of wine for $75. So and he's cutting his prices for us to really make sure that we do a nice thing. And I think he's got room for like 70 to 100 people.
Perfect. I already got my ticket, so I'll be there. I'm in.
Awesome. I know it should sell out. I just hope it sells out sooner than later. Because if it does sell out sooner or later, we can push to another date as well.
And anybody watching this, I mean, we're going to have people in the Delaware, South Jersey, Philly markets all watching this. So I live in South Jersey. I work in Philly, and we've just brought money into Delaware, all of which is about 30 minutes from me. So when I look at this, and whoever's watching this, you've probably seen Dan online and so forth. Do yourself a favor and show up. It's 30 minutes from your house, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, so 30 minutes to an hour max. Yeah. And it's gonna be a nice time, nice place. Hopefully it's a nice day, and we get to just see each other, and it'll be a good time.
And quite frankly, and I'm not here campaigning for Dan. I honestly I said, hey, Dan's running. I'm going to be in Delaware, and everything I knew from a principle standpoint from you was like it's always checked out. Every conversation I've had with you, I'm sure you're looking for it with me too. You're always looking for the chinks in the armor. Is he what he says? Because most guys in our industry aren't.
Right.
And it's always checked out. So I said, if he's doing something and he's trying to make a change, it's probably going to be in line with the way I think. So, and everything you've said, it sounds fantastic. And I would think that anybody that's looking to have their market locally impacted, come down and see it. You know what I mean? Come down to the event. So, Dan, appreciate it as always, man.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.